All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely wanted to dive straight into this. And like I said, they finally find out that it was a female pilot that was in the deadly DC crash, and she was finally revealed. And the thing about this is that they said that her family, because they said that she actually worked for Joe Biden, and said that her family, like, straight just deleted her whole social media. Like every website she was on, whether it was Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and like her family just wiped everything out. Like, what are they covering up? You know, with this plane crash, because you know, since the plane crash happened, everybody been trying to blame it on Donald Trump, saying it's Donald Trump's fault that this right here just happened. I mean, this right here is just crazy. But the thing is, now everybody that I've been seeing in the comment section saying Joe Biden could be facing some jail time, you know, for this right here happening. Now, like I said before, they finally said that it was a female pilot, and she was finally revealed, even though her family, you know what I'm saying, straight just wiped out all of her social media as if she didn't want nobody to find her social media or whatever the case may be. So we about to dive straight into it because Benny has more information on all of this. So y'all please hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel. That way you can stay up to date with everything that's going on. And shout out to the ones that always watches the entire video. I appreciate all of you that do that. It definitely helps get the video out there. So please let me know in the comment section that you did stay to the end. I would really, really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into it. Because like I said, Benny has more information on all of this since the plane crash.
Trump had to say.
Okay.
Mr. President, to be clear, are you saying race or gender played a role in this tragedy?
It may have. I don't know. Incompetence might have played a role. We'll let you know that. But we want the most competent people. We don't care what race they are. We want the most competent people, especially in those positions. And you know, you're talking about extremely complex things. And if they don't have a great brain, a great power of the brain, they're not going to be very good at what they do, and bad things will happen.
Incompetence and DEI may have played a role, and then Pete Hegseth, who is the Secretary of Defense, the Pentagon, who would be, of course, responsible for which pilots are doing what, says we need to have the best and the brightest in every position possible. The era of DEI is gone. This is in the hours in the aftermath of this deadly, horrible explosion, attack, whatever you want to call it. Someone's responsible. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they released two names of the pilot, but the third name, a female, was kept from the American public. Now, finally, we know that the third pilot is 28-year-old Rebecca Lobach, the third soldier inside the doomed Black Hawk during the DC crash that clearly was caused by the helicopter. How do I know that? Because I've spoken with a dozen pilots who said clearly the Black Hawk helicopter was warned multiple times not to hit that plane. They were not flying where they were supposed to be. They were not flying on a path they were allowed to fly on. Something horrible went on inside of this helicopter.
Something ain't right here.
Female soldier doomed Black Hawk helicopter crash in the American Airlines flight, killing 67 people. Rebecca Lobach of Durham, North Carolina, was assigned to the 12th Aviation Battalion in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, and had served since 2019. The Army had initially refused to identify Lobach at the request of her family. Why would that be?
Why would that be?
And this is the problem.
I don't get that. Why?
As you can see here, Rebecca Lobach was an aide to Joe Biden.
So she was pretty much an aide to Joe Biden. And then let's take that back right here. So why would her family want to? It's the Army had initially refused to identify Lobach at the request of her family. Like, why would they do that? That's the reason why I said when stuff like this, like they said, that was told not to run into their plane and did it anyway. And like I said before, she was an aide to Joe Biden. So it's just like a lot of stuff it's a lot of cover up going here. And we got to get to the bottom of it, y'all.
And it served since 2019.
That's crazy.
The Army
man.
had initially refused to identify Lobach at the request of her family. Why would that be? And this is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see here, Rebecca Lobach was an aide to Joe Biden. Rebecca Lobach served as an escort at the White House. Rebecca Lobach served inside of not just the Army, but the Joe Biden administration. It's very curious. Why would somebody who's clearly not a full-time pilot be allowed to fly during and over some of the most dangerous airspace in the world? Lobach served as a White House social media aide during the Biden administration. And you can see here, like, was taking touristy photos at the press dais inside of the White House.
Wow.
And there are photos of her and Joe Biden together. Here she is with Joe Biden. So the hell's going on here?
Something ain't right,
I'm not
man.
saying that like every person in the military must swear allegiance to one politician or another, but I am saying that if you're doing multiple jobs, like if you're splitting your time and you're not a full-time pilot, why the hell are you allowed to fly over Washington, D.C.? But it gets even worse, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that they wouldn't release her name caused a lot of people to speculate. The fact that she was probably somebody who didn't like President Trump. And obviously, you just have to assume this, right? If she works for Joe Biden, she doesn't like President Trump. If she works for Joe Biden, she has a very specific worldview. You can't work for Joe Biden, who is the most atrocious, woke, radically extremist progressive president of our lifetime, and not hold those views. You wouldn't mesh. Right? And she wasn't there to agitate. She enjoyed it. She has a bunch of squealing photos next to Joe Biden, was sitting there, working with Joe Biden. Here she is with Joe Biden, okay? Again, I'm not saying this doesn't mean she shouldn't serve in the military, but I am saying that why did they not give out her name? And there's no record of this 28-year-old online. So we have the Matthew Thomas Crooks, the Trump assassin in Butler. We have the same paradigm happening here, where for some inexplicable reason, young left-wing person, Matthew Thomas Crooks, was a donor to the Democrat Party, right? A Biden supporter. They have zero social media record. Was this an opportunity for the family to go and scrub and scrape all of Rebecca Lobach's social media? Would that social media presence have shown progressive left-wing anti-Trump views? And maybe
then if you really look at it, the Army didn't want to release because the family said that they didn't want the Army to release like the female, like who it was, because at that time it was going to get a family enough time to say, okay, let's go to Rebecca's social media, let's delete her Facebook, let's delete her Instagram. So they were trying to go ahead and delete all of her social media. So by the time they release her name, all her social media is gone because they already deleted the reason why they didn't want, nobody knowing her name. So like I said, they would have gave them time to just straight delete everything. So it's like, man, what are they covering up? It's crazy.
Advocating for DEI in the military. Female Black Hawk helicopter soldier from D.C. Crass identified as former White House aide. I'm telling you that I spoke with a Black Hawk pilot who told me that there's absolutely no way that somebody with only 500 flight hours should be flying over Washington Reagan National Airport. This is the most number of VIPs, world leaders, senators, members of Congress, members of the administration, members of the media, celebrities, tourists. This is the busiest possible area flight-wise in the world, arguably, when it comes to VIPs coming in and out, when it comes to just regular flight patterns. Reagan is a very tough airport to land at. It's the shortest landing strip in the country, actually. It's very, very sacred airspace, right? You have the White House there, you have the Capitol there.
Yep.
You should only have the single most qualified, experienced pilots flying these routes, not a 28-year-old who is just doing this part-time and doesn't have any experience. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't get that at all.
It doesn't make any sense. There were two other people, two other soldiers killed in the crash. Andrew Eves, who's 39, and Ryan Austin O'Hara, who's 28. I guess there's a lot of questions left. I'm not sitting here placing blame necessarily on one person or another. What I am doing is asking some pretty obvious questions, which is why, right? Why? She was the pilot. She wasn't just a crew member. She was the individual flying the plane. So why? Honestly.
If she didn't have that much experience, why is they letting her fly that plane? I just don't get that at all. She doesn't have that much experience in flying a plane, and they still let her fly it. Man, it's crazy.
How many evaluations did she pass because she weren't allowed to fail or because her instructors looked the other way? This is why Trump called out DEI immediately. Trump knew.
Yeah.
Trump was briefed, obviously, he's the commander-in-chief. Why did Rebecca Loebach's family wipe all of her social media accounts before revealing her identity? These are the questions that people are asking.
That's
online.
what I just said.
Rebecca Loebach's social media have traces of extreme Trump derangement syndrome or anger towards the MAGA movement. Why was her entire social media footprint wiped out? Just like with Matthew Crooks, entire social media footprint wiped out. People are asking these questions online. As we had to wait 4 days for Rebecca Loebach to be ID'd. She had no deployments, yet she's flying in what is effectively a war zone above Washington, D.C., right? In the sense that there are so many different planes, it's such a high-intensity area. Why are you doing training flights there and not the Panhandle? I'm not saying this person shouldn't be allowed to ever fly, nor am I saying that, like, that because she supported Joe Biden, which she clearly did, that means she's disqualified from military service. I'm saying, why not do these flights in the Panhandle in Florida? Why not do these flights over the Sierra Nevada desert? If she needs to be trained, why are you doing it in the most dangerous possible area? It doesn't make any sense. And then when you see what the helicopter actually did, with no evasive maneuvers at all, even when the helicopter was told time and time again from the tower, get the hell out of there, watch out for that plane, it was told time and time again. It didn't do anything. It leads to more questions than we have answers. And there's zero. Here was a White House social media aide under Joe Biden, yet she has zero social media presence. Was the delay in releasing?
And I literally just said that a few minutes ago. I said that's what they was doing. The reason why they didn't want her name revealed. So them 4 days, they used it to make sure all her social media was wiped out. Because soon she would have been identified, everybody would have went and looked up her page, and you know, it could have been, you know, Trump deranged syndrome, this and that. They just tried to clear everything out. And that's exactly what they did. And I've said the same thing, even if she did support Joe Biden, whatever the case may be. But if you don't have that much experience, like I said, like flying an airplane, like, come on, man. You shouldn't be flying no airplane if you don't have that much experience. Like, come on. That right there is common sense. Reason why Donald Trump, you know, said what he said. And people, like, they got a problem with what Donald Trump said. Donald Trump knows exactly what he's talking about. They just don't like his answer.
Name to wipe clean all of her social media. This is what everybody's saying. During the last 4 years, she worked at the White House for Joe Biden. She was training to be a helicopter pilot with the 12th Aviation Battalion. She was 28 years old and, you know, clearly progressive views, right? You can see here. She's like, clearly progressive. I've said it before. I'll say it again. This doesn't mean she can't serve our country. It doesn't mean she should be disqualified and immediately run out of the military. But it does beg like a very serious question, which is, why was somebody who's so inexperienced flying such a dangerous path? And then, more importantly, what the hell happened with the helicopter? Because even with that inexperience, you'd assume that the other two pilots maybe would be able to take control, would be able to prevent the crash itself in an emergency situation. Where were they, right? And why was the helicopter veered so wildly off course? You can see in multiple clips that the helicopter was clearly doing like a beeline for that plane. You can see it like for 60 straight seconds, the helicopter and the plane like flying at each other. Something is off here. She goes from White House social media age to flying dangerous Black Hawk helicopters at night.
Man.
She's a staunch supporter of Joe Biden. Her social media has been scrubbed. Her social media showed obvious extreme left-wing progressive opinions. Rebecca is not alive anymore, along with so many more. The family needed to withhold her name so that they could wipe her politics off of social media. It took them a few days. I'm sure you all understand. You're not angry enough. I mean, I've stated pretty clearly what I believe, right? I'd like to get my pilot's license someday. I sure as hell, like, let me tell you, I have buddies who have private planes. I have buddies who like are pilots, right, on their small planes that they own. And I think it's really cool. I'd love to get my pilot's license someday. I'm not going to be training over Manhattan. I'm not going to be like trying to get my license inside of the most dangerous airspace in the world.
Exactly.
I will literally find an empty field in order to begin my flight training. I'll probably start obviously on a computer, right? Yeah. Rebecca Loebach was in ROTC training in 2018. How is she flying a government continuity missions in a Black Hawk in Washington, D.C. 6 years later as a captain? Makes a lot of questions. A lot of questions. I mean, it really does beg the question, how much DEI was at place here. And I think that's a question that still needs to have answered. But you can tell that President Trump
right, man.
knows what's up because of the way he immediately responded, signing executive orders against DEI in the military, going in hard against DEI in the military. You can tell that the Pentagon knew what's up. Immediately, Pete Hegseth saying, this is a problem in our military. And then the way that the family behaved,
Yeah, that shocked me there.
to effectively erase her from social media, even though when she worked in social media, like that just, again, it's very suspicious, and it causes people to say, wow, you're hiding something.
Like I said, if y'all see the clip, which I don't want to show it because I don't want to get flagged or anything, the reason why I kind of like skipped it in the beginning, I think Benny was showing it. I didn't want to show that because, I mean, YouTube flagged you for that. But you can definitely see the plane. I mean, you can just see him, it just colliding straight with the plane. You can just see it. And it just didn't make any sense at all. Like, it's like, come on, man. You got to be freaking kidding me. But like I said, we got to find out, like what is going on. Because, like I said, with her family, like, wiping out her social media, needing 4 days, they want her name to be, you know what I'm saying, put out there because they wanted to have time to, like, make sure everything was off the internet so it didn't show her politics, even though we see who she supported. So I'm pretty sure she did have, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, probably didn't like President Trump, whatever the case may be. But with her family, like, hiding it for 4 days to try to clear all that out, it's like, what else is they hiding? What else is they hiding?
Obviously, right? The 28-year-old clearly had social media. You're hiding something from us. You're lying to us.
Yep, that's what I just said.
Lied to us again. So I really hope the White House comes forward with what's really happening here. Like, I really hope the White House is able to reveal, and the Pentagon is able to reveal, like, recordings from the cockpit, who made the mistakes, so that we can really get to the bottom of this story. Because right now, nothing is adding up. It seems like someone is clearly, obviously lying to us.
Yep.
To probably protect a DEI, to protect the DEI regime, right? The final failings of a DEI regime. And then ultimately, you have 70 people who perished, who need answers. Families that will have been destroyed. Shame on everybody trying to cover up this. This is the time for radical transparency.
That's crazy.
The Trump administration is in charge. They can do the transparency, and I know that they will. I have 100% confidence interval that they will explain what happened here.
Oh, yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, DEI kills, and that's really important. Too many examples of it. We pray for the families. We pray for the people that are grieving, the people that are lost. Every family, everybody who lost, right?
Yeah, they're not going to say, like, prayers go out to every family. You know what I'm saying? Man, it's a sad thing to happen, man. But like I said, we had to get to the bottom of it to see, like, what has happened. Why is the family, like, because like I said, if they did that, what else is they hiding from the American people? Like, why did they screw up her social media? Like, I just don't get it, man. But like I said, prayers go out to the, you know, to the families and stuff like that who lost their loved ones. Just a sad thing, man. But like I said, y'all let me know in the comment section, what do y'all think about all of this? What do y'all think they hiding? And do y'all even think Joe Biden in trouble? I've been seeing a whole lot of comments talking about Joe Biden is in trouble for this. Like, he has something to do with this. So I don't know. But y'all let me know in the comment section. Thank you all for watching, and I catch y'all in the next one.